How many years feel that Java is a crap? Java is a crap.
I raise my hand. I raise my hand to that. Raise your hand.
And how many?
A lot of people over here actually hate Java. And pain areas basically you have to write 50 to 60 line of code to actually get an output. Get one line of output. I heard someone say that.
The exception is, well, I have a calculation and a presentation on
He wants to make an announcement. Just one second.
गाइस जो लोग वेब डेवलपमेंट में इंटरेस्टेड हैं जिनको jQuery का सेशन करना है एक पैरेलल सेशन हो रहा है साइड में ग्रीन रूम में सो इफ हाउ मेनी पीपल आर इंटरेस्टेड इन jQuery
Actually, even we are.
okay actually I have to leave by 5 actually so that's one thing so we can do one thing I can have a very primer session today and I can have another session tomorrow can we get it tomorrow okay I don't know
Am I audible without this? Yeah. So this is the agenda for our presentation. We'll give a short intro about Grails, then tell you how to get started with Grails, and a demo of an application, a basic address book application, and we'll see how much time and how much lines of code we like to go ahead with that. And then we can have the question answer session. So, what is Grails? Grails is an open source web framework. As Aman said, it's inspired by Ruby on Rails. And it works on top of scripting language Groovy, which is again based on Java. Since it's based on Java, it's fully integrated with Java. If you still want to write your Java code within Grails, you can do that. Groovy actually compiles down to JVM compatible bytecode. So once you have the class files, there's no more difference between a Groovy code and a Java code. And when you install Grails, you get an integrated database, which is an HSQL in-memory database, and also an integrated server, web server, which is Jetty. So when you install Grails on your system, you don't really need anything else to get started. That's all you need. And the underlying technologies, people from the Java world may be familiar with that: Spring, Hibernate, Log4j, JUnit, Quartz, and ARM. So, how to install Grails? You go to the grails.org site. You can download and extract the files. Just create these two environment variables. Create Grails from environment variable and point it to your Grails installation directory. And add the Grails home to your path environment. That is it. Now we can start with the demo. In the demo, what we are building is a simple address book, which has basically got two entities, a person, and a person can have many addresses. Is it visible? So we've already created an application. We'll just show you a demo of what we're going to build now. We're going to show you this, and then we're going to build this from scratch in front of you. Typo. No internet connection.
We have done the caching, and we can see a job is executing every 5 seconds, and along with this the server is running and it is working on MySQL database.
And there's also a mail sending capability in this application which you won't be able to show. The folder structure it needs. Now we have this create domain class, and now it will ask you for the and another one address. Now we have two domain classes. Now we need to add attributes to them. Okay. Now person will have a name. He will have age, right? And what will be the constraints? Let's say my application name of person has to be unique. There cannot be two persons with the same name, and also it cannot be null. And all the people in my address book have to be between the age 20 and 16. And a person can have one or many addresses, as in I can have a home address, I can have an office address. So a person has many addresses which is of type address. Fields in address could be, let's say, an email. We have two address lines, address line 1 and address line 2. String email. Now, we do not want the address line 1 to be left blank. Address line 2 can be blank, but address line 1 should not be blank. And for email? Email for each and every address has to be unique, and it has to be an email. As in, we want the check to be there that a person should not be able to enter anything except an email. And an address object cannot exist without a person. So it basically belongs to a person.
How many people know about MVC? Well, let's put it other way. How many people do not know about MVC? Can someone of you who knows about MVC can share?
View controller. The basic idea of MVC comes from event-based programming. So every one of us has done some form of programming, including making TV, which is also programming in a sense. What happens is you have sequence of events. Let's say, can everyone hear me? Yeah. At the back? Yeah. Okay. So most of the time when we, let's say, make tea, we have decided that this is a sequence of events that I'm going to follow. Let's say, I have to put sugar, I have to put tea, I have to tea leaves, I have to put milk. Now, what if I don't want to be there to oversee that this all happens? I want that sequence to happen, but I don't want to oversee it all the time. What will you do? You can either send a sequence of events which someone else executes for you, or you do it yourself. MVC is actually that. So you basically delegate tasks to an event manager. It usually comes in form of GUI. You have something called event manager as a metaphor. And then you have certain events that you register yourself with. Like I want to put sugar at certain point in time. Now, this set of events and the related embodiments like sugar, tea, milk is called model. which holds the business logic of what you intend to do. Then you have views, how you want to see the presentation of that particular business logic. That is what is view. And the controller is the event manager, the one who is going to convert a business logic which is modeled into a view or back, view to model or model to view. And the controller is event manager. In case of web-based implementation, your controller is something like an Apache server. Then your model is your PHP scripts. And the view is embodied in the HTML or XML or Excel sheet that you present out to the public through your website. And the metaphor comes from GUI toolkits, especially Xerox PARC developed this when they came up with the idea of mouse and the desktop and whatever. They came up with the idea of model view controller. And if you really want to see one of the primitive implementations of something like that, there used to be a programming language called Squeak Stimula. You can look at that, and that has that, you know, old Xerox style model view controller model. And most UI development now also happens with MVC.
Okay, so now we have to define the controllers. We all know what MVC is now. At least we have a basic idea now. So we'll be creating controller for person and address. Again, we have a simple command, create controller, and you tell the name of the controller. Now we're going to edit those controllers, and we're going to basically provide a functionality for creating new objects and updating the existing one, seeing a list view and deleting. Yep. Okay. So we have just written one line over here. F scaffold equal to true. How many of us actually know what scaffold is? Okay.
Now Lalit will share.
Yes.
Please, Lalit, please.
Yeah,
Save us.
There's too many people who do not know about scaffolding. We had already teaching, we just need to write one line of code that scaffold equal to true.
And we'll do the same for the address controller. So let's just count the number of lines that we have written till now. The lines of code that we have written till now. We have defined two domain classes. We have defined their attributes, right? And we have written two lines in the controllers. Scaffold equal to true. Now we're going to run the application. See, we haven't done any database configuration. We haven't got any web server to deploy this. Let's see what happens now. Again, the command to run a Grails application is Grails run app. So we have this, we got the default view. We have got the list view now. We're going to create a person, name Aman. And we have a drop down. We just provide a range over there, that the range of the age should be 20 to 60, and we have a drop down over here automatically. Click on create, and it's created. Let's go to person list, and we have the person here. Yes, it will show you.
You can do it, but this is the default. If you want to just say it's a scaffolded code, you just need the current functionality, you need not to do it. You can obviously make the changes.
We provide any values for address line 1 and email. So it provides us an error message automatically that you need values for this. And let's provide a wrong value in email. I just write AMA and leave it there. So it provides me a message that property email is not a valid email address. So it's doing all those validations on its own, We just provided what it needs to do in the domain class. We just provided the constraints over there.
Is it a client-side validation or server-side validation?
It's a server side. Code. And we have got a CRUD, basic CRUD application up and running. Yeah.
So, if we want to have some custom functionality,
We say generate all. Controller. Now you can go ahead and change that coding, and you want to provide you can extend that and do everything you want. Let's just take a look at the controller, what Grails was actually providing us automatically. See. Controllers were in the Grails app controller folder, and the views are in the Grails app views directory, which gets created and dropped every time. Let's switch to MySQL. Let's say for development purposes, I just want to have an in-memory database and I don't want to store that. But when it comes to the test environment, I want it to be MySQL. So for that, what we have to do is, there's a Java file which is freely available over the internet for each and every database that you want to connect to. So you just download the jar, drop that jar into the lib directory of your application. That is for when I'm developing, I want to use this database. When I'm running in my application in test mode, I need to talk to this database. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to drop the settings for connecting to MySQL in this file. One application is talking to one database, but if you want to talk to multiple databases, you can do that as well.
But then
How do I want to handle my database? Should I, every time application runs, should I create and drop my database? Should I just update the existing database? What should I do? How do I want my application to do with the database? We haven't configured any more database yet. We haven't even touched the database yet. So these are basically the settings that we have done. Now we'll just create a database, go into MySQL and just create a database. Name demo. Now we're going to run this app. So we have provided the configuration for MySQL in one file, in one place, and we have provided the jar. Now we're going to run the application in test mode. Grails test run. So you can actually work with environment specific settings very easily. I think it says environment set to test. See, we provided a uniqueness constraint for email. So it has automatically created that constraint on the database. Remember we said that addresses belongs to a person and the address object had a reference to the person object. So it has also created the same foreign key constraint over here. It has created a person ID, which is pointing to an ID, to the ID field of the person class. Yeah, that's the convention.
It follows the convention itself. You need not write it.
All you need to do is you provide your variable names. Now we also said that our application will have mail sending capability. How will you do that? I said Grails is based on a plugin based system. As an open source, people make small applications which can be plugged into other applications and used. So there's a plugin for most of things available. You can get those plugins directly from the internet as well. You just say Grails install plugin mail. But since we do not have any internet connection here, we have the zip file. We'll just install it. So it installs the mail plugin. And let's say when do we want a mail to be sent? We'll send the email out when we add a new address to our class, new address object. So What the mail plugin does is it's providing a lot of classes which you can use. If you want to send mail, all you have to do is say mail service.send mail. You have to just call that method. And we want to do that after an object has been inserted, right? So there is a place for that. You just have to say def after insert is equal to and provide whatever you want to do. I want to say mail service.send mail. What name is that? We say mail service.send mail, and we now provide the details. Whom do you want this email to be sent? What should be the subject and the body? Let's say we want to provide HTML in the body. We want to say hi, the name of the person whose address this is, and say you have been added to the address book. We need to provide the configuration for the mail. So there's again a file called config.groovy. You just drop the mail configuration into that file. This configuration, there's nothing much over there. We just provide the host, the port, the username and the password. We just created a username and password. We used. How many lines of code have we written till now? We're going to point this out throughout. Exception because the internet was not working. We got an exception because the internet was not working, was not able to send an email. But the after insert was called as soon as we created a new record of address. Exception and just keep it. We won't show anything on the outside. So what all we have done till now? We have added, we created two entities, we configured it to run on MySQL in the test environment, and we've also added the mail sending capabilities. Now, what do you want to do? Let's say I want my responses that I'm sending from my server to be cached on the client side. Okay? I want to add caching for that. So we create a filter. Just provide some caching so that for every request from one client, the request should not go to the server every time. For that, all we have written is this. We say that connection should keep alive, and we have added an expires header. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are only doing it for all the calls that go to the person controller. I do not want to do it for each and every call. Only the calls that go to the person controller. See our settings, they're there. Added whatever settings that we provided, it added that to this. And now if we go to the address control, to any view from an address controller, this information should not be there. Not there. So our filters are working. We said that we only want caching for any calls to a person controller.
It could be anything you want to do. Basically, you want to do caching, or you want to just count the number of requests to a particular controller or action. Anything you want to do, that can be done in the filter.
And it has when we created the filter, it had three events basically: before, after, and after the view has been provided to the client. So you can actually trap the exact event what you want to do. Now we should we wanted to add a job, something to run at a time interval. Let's say I want something to happen every 5 seconds. I want a line to be printed on a console after every 5 seconds. For that, again, we have a plugin available. It's a Quartz plugin. I say Grails install plugin Quartz. I get that plugin and it provides me 2 new scripts. One is Grails create job. So we just create a new job. Name it demo. It created a folder automatically called jobs in my Grails app directory. So it's providing me it's telling me what I can do and when I can do. The timeout says that this job will execute after every 5 seconds. You can provide your time in milliseconds over here, or if you're happy writing a con expression or saying I want this job to be executed every Sunday afternoon or every first day of a month, then I can do that as well. Let's just run this application. So the time interval between the two printers is only 5 seconds because it's executing every 5 seconds now.
Provides you with a plugin architecture, and currently Grails has more than 284 plugins in its repository, and they're adding. So basically, most of the things you need to do in your application, you can find a very good plugin for it. Let's say you want to cache all the static content like your CSS files, JS files, images, you have a plugin for it, and you want a flashy UI, something like calendar or anything, you have the UI plugins available for it, and you want to work on the JMS, the people who know about Java messaging service, so you have the plugin available for that as well. So most of the times you will find one or the other plugin for it, and you won't need to code much for yours.
What more?
Your application if you want to. The documentation is pretty much updated, and even the Grails mailing list is very much vibrant. You will, if you have any questions, put in them on the mailing list.
Essentially, I already do use a web framework called Django, and most of the steps you did are very similar. What are the basic, there are advantages, like you just said that you can use multiple databases. That's not true for Django, for a single app. What are the advantages in terms of integration with Java code?
Anything you write in Java, that is, I put it that way, when you're coding in Grails, the worst code you can land up is in Java. Whatever product that has been developed around Java within so many years, you can leverage that. Anything that works on Java works on Grails.
If I have to write a wrapper, then there is no real advantage.
You don't have to write any wrapper.
See, basically, like we were talking about the triggers after insert we use for the mail thing, right? Basically, you have to use the trigger for it. For you, for the Java developers specifically.
Guys who are still developing in Java or say
Fine. How many exceptions you need to catch and how do you feel about this?
you have just the first 3 lines.
Well, you haven't
No exception handling required.
Nothing.
Why not? You had an exception.
Catch exception, even if you know.
Saying that not mandatory
Right. You create a new file, file.write, file.append, file.size. Most of the methods are all intuitive. If you want to generate an XML file, this is the code you need to write. With this code, you get this XML file generated for you. Can any Java developer just talk about this? How many lines of code you need to write in Java for this?
It was a big pain. When I started coding,
Like literally all Java code that I have seen, nobody really
Full
uses.
page. The complete HTML. Yes.
खाली पेज पे ले फटाफट ले
Like each further. Day, week, month, year, and you get the output. It was never so simple in Java.
Again, one question.
You have all the methods available with you. Can anyone find difficulty in understanding any of the methods, what they will be doing? If you want me to explain any of the methods to you, please let me know. This you can see Grails.org. You need not to go to any other website. Basically, if you want to know about Grails, every documentation, everything will be available there. For the Groovy, yes, groovy.codehouse.org. And if you want to know the tips and tricks, visit our own blog, telegram.com/blog. Thank you.